Hello and welcome you all to another episode of Indian History. Today we are going to see an important event which happened approximately 97 years ago. On the same day of 13 April in 1919 at exactly 5:30 in the evening we had the massacre of Jallianwala Bagh happening in Punjab. And this was supposed to be a turning point for the British Empire in India, and after this incident, there were a lot of repercussions which caused the empire to go down and ultimately ending the rule of British Empire in India and also getting us an independence. So, first of all, we'll take the important characters. The first one is Colonel Reginald Dyer, who was responsible for this massacre happening in Jallianwala Bagh, which is an Amritsar. And to go on with the incident, let's look at the prelude, which was the event which took over the scenario before this made it happen. So this was in the year 1919, where there was a lot of turbulence happening in Indian politics, and during the period of nationalism and revolts happening all around the places. So especially Punjab and Bengal were the important places where the British felt that the opposition was going stronger against them, and they wanted to have an iron fist sort of an approach against Indians in order to bring them down. So in 1919, Rowell's Act was passed, which was almost condemning civil liberty to people belonging to specific areas, and this was opposed across the Indian political scenario, and the people were revolting against this particular act. And especially in Punjab, there was a lot of anxiety and opposition against this act. And this was going as a revolt around in the areas of Punjab. And on 11th of April, there was an important incident which happened in Amritsar. Miss Marilla Sherwood, who was helping out in a school as an English teacher, was being beaten up and almost was dead, and she was rescued by some people, Indian mob, and she was rescued and she was safe, and she was being seen by Dyer, and he immediately ordered that people who crossed through the street where she was beaten have to crawl for about 200 yards, and the street was completely blocked, and even medical supplies was not sent through those through the street because of this. And also there were three English people who was bank employees were also attacked during this particular revolt. So Dyer was sitting on a boiling point where it can boil out and hell can broke loose. So he was almost in a position of giving a strong statement to people in Punjab that he is the commander of the city. So this was going on for quite a while, and then there was a crew free imposed in Amritsar and the areas of Jallianwala Bagh, and people are not supposed to gather at as groups. But unfortunately, on 13th of April, there was a religious festival which is being celebrated by Sikhs and also people of other faith, and people collected around Jallianwala Bagh at around 5:30, and this information was received by Colonel Reginald Dyer, and at the time the governor of Punjab ordered him to take stringent action against people whoever are going against the Kufi. This particular governor name was Michael O. Jusier, and he was later called on for inquiry about to justify his action. So now General Dyer was supposed to bring down the particular uprising, which he is considered as a violent one, but it was not a violent, it was just a non-violent or religious procession which was happening during that time. So Dyer, along with 65 Gurkhas and 25 Baluchistan and Pathans, went to Jallianwala Bagh. It was a big area of about 2 to 6 acres, and he surrounded them from all sides and started firing at people. He just stopped because he was having no more ammunition. He actually bought an armored car to stop the rebellion, but unfortunately the car was not able to go through the pathway, which saved a lot of people, but it was sold as unfortunate by him during one of his hearing. And then he started to fire at people, and he stopped only just as he was running out of ammunition, and this resulted in deaths of thousands of people as per the records of Indian National Congress. And then this caused a lot of repercussion. Mr. Or Sir Michael O. Dewar helped or was supporting Dyer in this case, and this was taken up as a very important issue in House of Commons, which is the Parliament of UK, And there, Winston Churchill, which was surprising for me, who was during those time as the Secretary of the State, condemned this action as a monstrous way. And I want to quote the exact things which he was saying during the Churchill's speech on the House of Commons. He said the crowd was unarmed and they were not attacking them. Even if they were dispersed, a fire on the air should have dispersed them. But the space was very small and people cannot run, and they were concentrated at the center. And the firing brought them directly to the ground. And the firing continued for 8 to 10 minutes, and it stopped only when the ammunition has reached a point of exhaustion. And after this particular debate, out of the MPs, 247 voted against Dyer, and only 37 voted for him. So Dyer was in a very bad situation at this time, and Winston Churchill was trying his maximum to get him some judgment, but unfortunately, as he was an army person, cannot be persecuted like a civilian. So he was brought back to England, and during this time, there were a lot of things happening in favor of Dyer. And Morning Post, one of the leading newspaper, quoted him as the man who saved India, and started collecting money for him, and they collected approximately 26,317 pounds, which is approximately 1 lakh pound and today's valuation. And once he was back to England, he was tried, but at least he was not punished for the action which he has done. So this went on for some time, and the aftermath of this incident was really huge. In 22nd March 1919, Rabindranath Tagore denounced his knighthood, and in 14 October 1919, there was a Hunter Commission which was formed, and Dyer and the governor Michael O'Donoghue was asked to give their part of the speech about why they did such an action. And during the entire course of the conversation, or during the commission inquiry, Dyer replied in such a way that he was confident that what he has done was right. And I want to quote in one of those two important lines during the investigation, which I found to really reflect of what Dyer character was. One of them was, the Hunter Commission was asking a question, and he said, "I think it's not possible that I could have dispersed the crowd without firing, but they would have come back again and laughed, and I would have made what I considered a fool of myself." And in second case, it was that he stated that he did not take any effort to tend to the wounded after the shooting. Certainly not. It was not my job. Hospitals were open, and that they could have gone there. So this really shows us the lethargic way of Dyer handling the situation. So Dyer, once back to England, was having his normal life. At one point, he was feeling very ill because of the repercussions which was happening to him, and also his personal life was affected. And after a series of stroke, he died. And during the same period, his close confidant Michael O'Donoghue was also assassinated after some years. So coming back to Michael O'Donoghue, he was assassinated by Shahid Udman Singh on the assassination happened on 13th of March 1940. To come back to Udham Singh was born on 26th of December 1899, and he was one of the witnesses of Jallianwala Bagh, along with Bhagat Singh also. So Udham Singh was now close confidant of Bhagat Singh, and they both were exchanging weapons and other mass destructions. And this was when he was arrested in 1927 and was released on 1931. And Udham Singh escaped via Kashmir to Germany and then to UK, and he was waiting for right time to kill the then governor of Punjab, Michael O'Donoghue, and also close friend of Dyer. And because he thought Dyer was the primary responsible for Jallianwala Bagh. And the incident happened in East India Company on a convocation on Central Asian Society, and he was shot twice. And the formal inquiry started on 1st of April 1940, and in prison he was on a hunger strike. And on 4th June 1940 he was trialed, and on 13th July 1940 he was hanged. And only after a long period of time he was recognized as a national leader. To quote, on 1940, Nehru condemned the assassination and called this as not a good act against UK. But he retaliated his statement on 1962, And in 1974, after a lot of opposition and MPs supporting the exhumation, in 1974 the body was exhumated and it was received by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and it was taken to Sunam, his native village in Punjab, and there it was buried. So this was what happened, and Michael O'Dwyer died during this assassination. To quote on this entire story, there is one interesting thing which I found, which is about root clipping. And you might have already known root clipping was the writer of the famous Jungle Book, and root clipping supported Dyer, and he was writing a lot of articles in support of him. And also there were controversy that he contributed to Morning Post for the fund they were collecting to help Dyer to spend his rest of his life on pension. And though this was not proved, but still there are a lot of records saying that this really happened. So apart from this, the root keeping had a very good favor with Dyer, which can be quoted with two important artifacts which he has written in favor of Dyer. And one was for his funeral, where he was quoted as, "He did his duty as he saw it." This was Rudyard Kipling, who wrote on the final funeral service of General Dyer. And there was one hospital which was constructed in memorial of him by his late friend, of course, the Governor of Punjab, Michael O'Dwyer. And Kipling wrote wrote a quote for him because a lot of beds were donated by him. So this was also a case where Rudyard Kipling supported Dyer and his activity, and was quite sure that what he did was for the good of India and was good for the country, or for UK also. And the aftermath of the situation has gone so was that Queen Elizabeth visited Amritsar, but she didn't give any comments on this massacre. When UK's Prime Minister, also the current Prime Minister David Cameron, when he visited Amritsar, he showed this is a shame on the history of British Empire. So these were the facts which you can see into the Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. The massacre was a chain of events which which was started by Dyer, and it was taken up by Michael O'Dwyer, and he was assassinated by Udham Singh. So stay tuned for some more of interesting facts from history, and do subscribe to my channel and like and comment. We are also now available on Facebook, and also your comments are largely welcome by me. Thank you and have a nice day.